Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me at this amazing event. A great round of applause for yourselves for being here. For many decades, people thought about machines that could be as smart as humans. Authors, futurists, and filmmakers have devised scenarios with machines achieving that type of intelligence. That started to happen a few years ago. You may remember in May 11, 1997, when Deep Blue, IBM supercomputer, made history in New York City as the first computer to beat a chess world champion in a 6-game match under standard time controls. Garry Kasparov had won the first game, lost the second, and then drawn the following 3. Deep Blue took the match by winning the final game. Of course, that was a feat that took a long time to conceive, despite the fact that many people thought that that would be impossible. Chess computers work by attaching a numerical value to the position of each piece on the board using a formula known as an evaluation function. These values can then be processed and searched to determine the best move to make. From that standpoint, a computer can effectively learn to play chess. Is that intelligence? That is a matter of debate. At some moment, computers would have been powerful enough to examine 200 million different chess positions per second, explore how each possible strategy would play out, up to 40 or more moves into the future, all in a reasonable time frame. Kasparov himself couldn't believe it. Take a look at this picture of a wheel, and let me ask you this. How could we teach a computer to recognize what's in the picture? For us, it's very easy to see. We see there a wheel of a car. However, the challenge is going to be for a computer to come up with the same result. First of all, by definition, a wheel is a circle. That is not a circle. It has a slightly different shape because of the angle. What about if you're looking at this wheel with only partial light, something obstructing the view? Is this something that the computer will be able to recognize, going beyond these challenges and tell you that this is indeed a wheel? The only way today for a computer to recognize this picture is through a neural network that is trained with pictures of wheels. Millions of data points are collected with images of wheels. The computer learns through these examples, basically refining a model with thousands of parameters that connect these pictures with the label wheel. Eventually, the computer is able to predict that we have a wheel. Is that intelligence? Again, that's going to be a matter of debate. We're getting there. I think, let's look at ourselves and try to understand how impressive is that we only need one data point to meet this type of recognition challenge. So if you ask Svetlana Sofia about giraffes after she went to the zoo once, she will be able to recognize that tall animal with long legs and dark spots as a giraffe any other time she sees one. No more training needed. One data point was enough for a toddler to recognize the animal. How is that possible for a baby? Of course, that is a skill we humans have developed over time. When you think about evolution, modern evolution, we appeared 200,000 years ago. For the prior 600,000 years ago, there was dramatic climate change, and that helped our ancestors to survive by increasing the size of the brain. This understanding led people to think that we could get machines to think by replicating this configuration. Did you know that there are 100 billion neurons that communicate over 1,000 trillion synaptic connections? A neuron, an electrically excitable cell, processes information by electrochemical signaling. Neurons fire under certain conditions and send information to other neurons through their connections. They change over time. The more signals sent between two neurons, the stronger the connections grow. And so, with each new experience and each new remembered event, the brain slightly rewires its physical structure. While the brain fills up with neurons by birth, it is this synaptic growth that makes us smarter and smarter. Most of our learning new things throughout life involves the creation of these synapses. The real effect is to create new neural networks. Before the neurons die off in youth, unused neurons are recruited to form the new learning or memories. During and after the die off, new synapses connect existing networks to create new associations. That is why New skills are better learned by the time we are toddlers. It is in the baby's nature to want to communicate. So thanks to parents, relatives, and friends, kids in 3 short years can hear, mimic, explore, practice, and finally learn a new language. Let's look at my kids, Edgar, Felipe, and Svetlana. By the time they are 4 and 3, respectively, they speak Russian with mom and Spanish with me. I was born in Peru, as you know. They go to school and speak English with their teachers and classmates. They are learning Mandarin Chinese on weekends, and they go to a Montessori school, which provides them with Italian lessons. Do they feel challenged? Of course not. They are learning life skills they are perfectly prepared to acquire at this stage. When kids are born, they can make and hear all the sounds in all languages in the world. That is about 150 sounds in about 6,500 languages, though no language uses all these sounds. Some languages use more, some use fewer. Toddlers learn which phonemes belong to the language they are learning and which don't. They are able to understand that Chinese is a tonal language, for example, as people react differently to pronunciations of the same phoneme. Furthermore, I was impressed when Edgar Felipe told me not too long ago, English is to German what Spanish is to Italian. In conclusion, communication and survival skills are easier to learn before we turn 7. The child's brain is learning and changing more during this stage than during any other cognitive ability the child is acquiring later. Starting in puberty and for about a decade, unused neurons will die off. This is the reason why people can spend years in high school learning certain languages and then not have much to show decades later. Today, we live in a world that experiences amazing developments, but these achievements pale in comparison to what we're going to achieve in the future. At this moment, we're looking at the deployment of only a narrow form of artificial intelligence. What is an example? Self-driving. It combines sensors and software to control, navigate, and drive a vehicle from point A to point B. It is a very specific task that a computer has to perform, which can be considered a general artificial intelligence. Of course, there are many other wonderful applications of this narrow approach. Eventually, we will reach a general artificial intelligence stage, which is what we humans exhibit today. Ultimately, we expect to achieve the stage of super artificial intelligence, computers becoming smarter than us by entering a positive feedback loop of endless improvement. Some people thought that we might reach outstanding levels by 2060. To be honest with you, that seems unrealistic. Let me tell you why. At this moment, AI is at the level of the one exhibited by small mammals, so we still have a long way to live from what nature did over millions of years. However, when we will reach the super artificial intelligence stage, these type of achievements will be a thing from the past. One achievement, though, that will be certainly remembered is Watson defeating the Jeopardy champions Ken Jennings and Brad Rutter back in 2011, a considerably more difficult challenge than Deep Blue defeating Garry Kasparov. Why? Jeopardy squared is that instead of the presenter setting questions and contestants providing the answer, the anchor provides complicated and nuanced answers, clues to which contestants provide a question. It would have taken, indeed, a special type of computer to be able to recall decades of information and provide a coherent response in real time. This type of technology is now being utilized by doctors in Brazil. Zika, the dangerous virus, was first identified in 1947 in Uganda, Africa. Transmitted by mosquitoes, it spread west and arrived to America. This virus is of particular concern for pregnant women. It can be passed to the fetus and cause microcephaly, where babies are born with underdeveloped heads and brain damage and other severe brain defects. This type of infection needs to be differentiated from others that are similar in emergency centers that face limited resources. Information of past Zika infections is now being fed into a machine learning model to do exactly that. Researchers have identified already drugs that may be able to prevent the virus from replicating in the body and even protect fetal cells from being damaged. Similarly, researchers at the University of Sao Paulo are testing self-driving technology in cargo trucks. What is the end goal? Get a truck to drive itself from a warehouse to a distribution center. For example, if you have a person driving, think about the tedious task of driving in a highway for hours and hours. It demands attention from a person who might be lacking sleep or be stressed out. So the strategy followed by major providers like Uber Freight incorporates a hybrid approach. Humans will drive from the warehouse, for example, to the highway, where self-driving technology will drive autonomously and then drivers take over for the last miles. Education, it's another area where we will see significant applications of machine learning. How so? From kindergarten to graduate school, one of the key areas is through the application of greater levels of individualized learning. These systems respond to the needs of the student, putting greater emphasis on certain topics, repeating things that the students haven't mastered, and generally helping students to work at their own pace. This kind of custom-tailored education could be machine-assisted solution to help students get the best from teachers and administrators. Teachers often find that grading takes up a significant amount of time, which could be used to interact with the students, prepare for class, or work on professional development. It is now possible for teachers to automate grading. With this rapid pace of technology advancement, modern tutoring systems may bring education to remote towns with the most limited resources. Finally, there are already applications to monitor students' attention in class through facial recognition. Teachers could be notified a student is not following his or her presentation and offer a different way to ensure learning. Another area for AI application is financial services. Customers can now set up an account and connect it to their online accounts, creating a financial profile. They input their long-term plans, such as having children, buying property, or going on holiday. These can be changed at any time. An automated investment advisor can now monitor over millions of data points to create financial projections and provide decisions. If anything changes, either within the customer's personal finances or in the local economy, state economy, in the nation's economy, even in the world, the system updates the profile and projection automatically. Let me give you now an example of a person that I'm sure you probably know. Which company this person founded? Who doesn't have an iPhone or an iPad? Well, unless you have been living under a rock, you know about Steve Jobs. It was 2004, and his picture was splashed across magazines all over the world as he announced a new version of the iPod, the must-have music player of the decade. In fact, as of September 2012, Apple had reported that the total number of iPods sold worldwide was 350 million. But was Jobs really sitting on top of the world? Yes and no. He was hiding something. He had been diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer, the fourth leading cause of cancer death for both men and women. This low survival rate, 5-year rate of 7%, is attributed to the fact that fewer than 20% of patients' tumors are confined to the pancreas at the time of diagnosis. Mr. Jobs initially delayed surgery. Ultimately, 9 months after his diagnosis, he had a successful surgery. Unfortunately, the tumor came back and he passed away on October 5, 2011. One reason why this cancer is so deadly is that it is usually detected too late, only until it starts to spread and cause symptoms. Today, 40 million people get abdominal MRIs, which have been proven to be outstanding for characterizing pancreatic masses. Now, artificial intelligence is able to study these images and predict pancreatic cancer way before the appearance of these symptoms. We have been told, if you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars. I tell you, if you reach for the heavens, you'll get the stars droning. Go out there and reach for the heavens. Thank you very much.